Hello everybody, I'm TychoCelchuuu and we're watching a match. We're watching a Company Heroes 2 match. Who would have thought? We're on Angeville and we've got Stupendous Man, about whom I have little to no information, versus Dave, who's so good at this game that J4Jet, who's currently watching in Twitch, predicted that the game would last 3 minutes. So we'll have to see how it goes. It's Soviets versus Auster, of course, and we have a quick Tier 1 coming out from the Auster. So make your predictions now as to what's going to pop out of this, and we just have conscript spam on the Soviets, nothing strange happening over there. Hello to all the viewers on Twitch who are talking about incendiary devices on bats and bombs on dogs in World War II, some of the most well-trodden stories around. And well, let's take a look at the bulletins and the doctrines while we're waiting for battle to be joined. Pack 40 doctrine, Grenadier doctrine, Grenadier doctrine, ooh, the mine doctrines. Those are always tricky, because it's a head game. Is it like, is this guy gonna spam mines? Is the, sorry, bulletin, not doctrine. Is the bulletin just there to trick me into thinking that mine is coming? And we have some of this wire. This is some old school wire. You used to see Angeville wired off all the time in the original Company Heroes, but that's an interesting choice, because of course this wire is on the German side of the map, so it's gonna be a while till the Soviet player realizes it, and the German player is of course gonna have to deal with it just as much as the Soviet, but the Germans got the advance notice and of course can also use the base to just go around, whereas the Soviet can't. We'll have to see if this gets knocked down at some point to have slightly easier egress to the cutoff. What is Twitch chat talking about? Nothing much. And are we going to see a battle? Notice the MG does not set up, so Stupendous Man is a very good player, does not set up the MG until he's got a better idea of where Dave is going to be coming from, so that's a nice little tip. And now we immediately see Dave, the MG is set up, and it's firing even at that fairly advanced range, not going to suppress anybody. The yellow cover plus the range means they're going to survive at least a burst or two before the suppression is even a worry on the horizon, so they can just pull out. Very good move by Dave there, not wanting to get hurt or suppressed for no particular reason, just going to go straight for the cutoff, I suspect. Can easily steamroll these Pioneers, has to be a little worried about the repositioning machine gun, which you know is going to be coming soon. And here we go, it's repositioned, and these guys are going to have to give up their green cover. Are they going to retreat? Now that they're suppressed, they are trying to crawl out. We are at pretty long range. Taking a lot of damage. This is pretty low, and since these Grenadiers are here, I would suspect they want to retreat pretty soon. If the Grenadiers want to keep capping, maybe they've got a grace period, but that's pretty risky. Look, they were already losing one more model. Now they're in green cover, but the Grenadiers give up the cap now that they've got the decap. Kind of an interesting choice. This isn't a super important decap for the CP, so I don't know if it made sense to stick around with the Grenadiers, but there's only a few more seconds, and now they're here. They're in green cover. They're pushing up this conscript squad. That conscript squad didn't really get anything done anyway, so it wasn't a big deal to just let them sit there behind that cover for a little longer. And we have the fuel decap going, so the German is now cut off from the fuel and decapped from the fuel, but they are also getting the decap here on the right. So we have fairly close sort of capping and decapping when it comes to the fuel. Soviets doing better in terms of overall map control somehow, I guess, because the German player had to come back and deal with this decap, it looks like. Yeah, I don't really know how the Soviet player managed to so quickly and so effectively secure control of so much of this map. That was really good. That was textbook play. Go back and rewind this thing if you're watching on YouTube and figure out how the Soviet player made that work. Because the Soviet player did have two conscript squads over here. I'm using my mouse on the minimap. Over here for quite a while, not capping stuff except for the decap. I guess that's just the power of the engineer going around. Maybe it wasn't even an engineer in the first place. Maybe it was always this conscript squad the whole time, although we never saw the engineer, so I think the engineer must have been on the right too. The power of those squads just heading off and doing their own thing. So we have a mortar out, the mortar being the first significant choice. I guess the first significant choice for the Germans was the machine gun, which is we see is capping the fuel again. Let's see if it's set up. Yeah, it's set up, so since it's not the very beginning of the match anymore, it makes a little sense to set it up. Instead of waiting for someone to mosey on by because you're busy microing over here or something. Might actually get a squad. Ooh, that's a big pick-off for Stupendous Man. Knocking down a squad, but taking some big damage on the mortar. Interesting that we didn't see the mortar chased, because that's a red cover right there that they're going to be retreating on the whole time. That is kind of a tough chase because they'll be running fast on the road, but since it's red cover, you can get some real good hits in, so a little surprising the conscripts didn't bother doing that. They do instead go for the cutoff, which is very important, especially because the Germans did recapture that fuel. So The sooner you can get that cut up, the better. So this is a slight misplay. Poor Stupendous Man, I'm sure, wanted to set the machine gun up such that this guy was slightly forward and capping the point. That didn't happen. Now it's also getting flanked by conscripts, who we do have Molotovs upgraded on, if you're keeping track of that at home. And so the machine gun is pushed off, and the Soviets are looking in a fairly good position, despite being pushed off their own cutoff. They kept a hold of their fuel by running in real close. They lost a conscript squad for that, but that's the only misplay so far. And we have a Maxim coming out from the Soviets, so I'm interested to see how that works, especially versus this mortar that we've got out from the Germans. Maxim is a slightly odd choice once you know your opponent's got a mortar, but whatever, you know, you can make it work. Take a big sip of a brown rice green tea. This stuff is real good. It's called Genmai brown rice green tea Yamamata Maya. That's the brand. I highly recommend buying it if you ever find it. I'm addicted to this stuff. But the Germans handily taking back their cutoff, not having to really worry too much about those conscripts who were recently buffed, but I think the buff was well, ostensibly just to make them more consistent. They lowered the damage and upped the accuracy. But I think they're still going to lose at long range to the Grenadiers. Unless the Grenadiers have to run around a lot, which is what happened. Look at this mine. So Dave was not bluffing with the mine bulletins. Oof. The mortar. It's not bluffing. We didn't, okay, yeah, we didn't lose that Gren squad. I was scared for a second. And then they retreat over the mine, which they were standing very close to, but mines don't wipe infantry squads anymore on the retreat, so it's all good. How many kills on mortar? 1. That was the 1. Dodd says, this can't be good for your Tycho, or for your tummy, Tycho? The brown rice, green tea? How would that not be good? Tea is probably, well, I actually don't know. Maybe it's bad. Somebody tell me if it's bad. We have a doctrine picked and a mortar half-track, so now we have double mortar. Was that mortar half-track and that doctrine pick before or after the Maxim was spotted? I think it was before the Maxim was spotted. I feel like the mortar got called in and then these people ran into the Maxim, so that was just Stupendous Man saying, you know what, I feel like I need a mortar. And it's a testament to how amazing Dave is that even after losing a conscript squad, Dave has 5 units on the field, guys, and he has the majority of the map, including both fuel points. That is how good Dave is at this video game. Somebody in chat says, you will likely die, rest in peace. Thank you, Evil Triple One. Dodd says, only use for rice is to make wine and vodka. I didn't know you could make rice vodka. I guess you can probably make vodka out of anything that ferments. There's a lot of uses for rice. I've been eating rice every day for at least a few weeks. I've been eating a lot of Chinese food, so I make rice. Because that is what people in China often eat. Dodd says, that's not good to be addicted to. I didn't mean I'm literally addicted. I don't get the shakes if I don't drink the green tea. It's just I vomit uncontrollably. So we have mortars falling continually from the sky, as you might expect, having gotten 2 mortars. The conscripts don't have their AT grenades yet, so this thing is effectively invincible, except we went Guards Rifle Doctrine. I wasn't even paying attention. I really gotta pay attention, guys. I need to practice mindfulness, like the Buddha suggested, because these Guards Rifle came out and got their DP-27s without me even noticing. You know what else I haven't noticed? Whether or not these things are actually DP-27s. I could swear they're DP-27s, but it doesn't say 27 anywhere in the tooltip, so I may be just pulling that straight out of my ass, which is a place that good stuff comes from, but also bad stuff. DP-28, says Evil Triple. I was close. I was close. I was off by a year. I assume the number refers to the year? Like the AK-47 or the AK-101? Which is from 2101. It was sent back in time. Little known fact, AK-101 sent back in time by the Russians so that they could have a slightly better AK-47.
We are losing supplies to the enemy.
Those crafty Russians. So we must have teching. This is 40 fuel. We must have teching from the Germans if they only have 30 fuel banked. I want to look in the base and find out what the teching is, but I'm busy watching the fight. Nice flank on this machine gun. Big kudos to that. This wire seems not to have paid a lot of dividends yet. That was a grenade and the Guards Rifle that did nothing. Oof, a Molotov in on the MG42 wipes it out, so the Soviets now taking kind of a commanding point. And look, There's no teching here. There's a medic bunker. I was about to say, look, there's a thing, but of course that's the Tankovy battalion completed by the Soviets, the Tier 3. We went to the Tier 3 and we're going to have a T-70 out maybe? Or an Su-76? What do you think? Place your bets now if you're in Twitch chat. I would put a poll on my YouTube video. Tried to take that, didn't get it. I would put a poll on the YouTube video, but I kind of don't like YouTube's implementation of polls. I was very excited when I realized you could do it. I put it on a couple of my YouTube videos, and now I've soured on it. It's not as cool as I was hoping. I was hoping for... I don't know what I was hoping for, but it's not happening. Let's look over at Twitch chat. No, wait, let's look back at the game and look at this fight, then look over at Twitch chat. Everyone who drinks tea dies, says J for Jet. That's true. Creative Name says, I've heard everyone dies someday. That's true. Sound of Destruction says MG Wipe. That's true. Evil Tribble guessed T-70. Kazel250 says them mortar snipes. It's up to 8 kills. It's not too shabby. It's probably going to start landing on this building soon. Nope, he doesn't know it's there yet. The Maxim doesn't know the Maxim's there yet. How many kills does that have? 7. So we have 15 kills between the two mortars. It's not shabby, but this is 40 fuels worth of mortar. You really got to ask yourself, is that so much better than a normal mortar that you need to dump 40 fuel into it? I guess only 200 manpower. You are... Oh, the T-70 was right. So you do get it instantly. You can call in the mortar thing instantly, and it is only 200 manpower. So those are 2 good reasons to grab it. So we also had, very smartly, a Pack 40 ready for the T-70 coming out. So that's pretty much a necessity if you're doing what the German player is doing, because you got to expect they're going to grab some teching or whatever if they've had this fuel point the entire time and this fuel point's been more or less back and forth. You got to expect that Soviet vehicle coming out soon, especially if you don't see any evidence of back-teching to Tier 1 or whatever, because they got to be dumping their fuel in something, guys. That just stands to reason. Evil Tribble says, first place T-70 guess. Oh yeah, Evil Tribble is the winner. Creative Name says, not straight to T-34-85, disappointing. Yeah, that is disappointing. I'm a big fan of going straight to T-34-85. In this case, the Soviet player is doing so well with so little that you would think, look, why not just hold on a little longer and tech up that far. You do have the guard's rifle to deal with the mortar half-track, although to be fair, with the machine guns around, it is kind of a pain to get close to the mortar half-track with the guard's rifle, but whatever, they can handle it. We have Panzergrins, so that's an exciting thing. Where are these mortar shells falling? I'm trying to look and find them. Maybe they're just falling over here? I don't know, it's hard to tell. That was a grenade. That's a grenade. I'm just playing Spot the Grenade. It's like a children's, really not like a children's book now that I think about it. There are very few children's books about grenades. I'm sure there's probably some sort of children's book which is like how not to step on landmines, because we live in a terrible universe where children have to be taught not to step on landmines in certain places. Not in the United States, though. Have there ever been like mines in the United States? Has anyone ever like laid down mines? We've been blissfully mine-free, I feel like, in my country. Maybe it happened at some point. I don't know. How old are mines? Did they use mines in the Civil War? Did they use mines in the Revolutionary War? Were mines invented in the 80s? Are mines like Terminator? Terminator was 1981, I think, so relatively early in the 80s. Arnold Schwarzenegger, when was he invented? Did he go back in time? Schwarzenegger went back in time, so it's very hard to tell when Arnold Schwarzenegger was invented. Like the AK-101. Dodd says tons of mines around the States. I don't believe you. I've never stepped on one. There's certainly a lot of munitions around the States because the Army used to test stuff and they haven't completely cleaned it all up, so there are just places around the United States where it's like, look, there's some unexploded ordnance. Maybe watch yourself. Supposedly Sherman marched prisoners in front of his army to counter mines. Did it work? I'm sure some crazy bastard has mined up his own backyard, says C's23. I'm sure of that, but that doesn't really count. That's like saying there's like kings in the United States because someone's declared themselves the king of their backyard. Like I have. I mean, I'm the king of my backyard. I definitely beheaded some people for entering my backyard. So this is just a slow, crushing defeat for the Germans, it seems like, so far, which is just, I mean, entirely down to how good of a player the Soviet is, despite losses, rather than some sort of sweet Soviet teching strategy or anything like that, because we have nothing like that. We have nothing at all like that. We just have, you know, conscript guards rifle, a Maxim at one point, later a T-70, which hasn't really done much. And we even lost that conscript squad early on, but the Soviets just like, you know what, I'm just gonna beat you in fights. And I haven't talked at all about it yet, but the Soviet player has been garrisoning one or both of these houses basically the entire match, especially once this Maxim came out. The Maxim has spent most of its time in one or both of these houses, and so that's been a really concerted effort by the Soviet player to keep the German off the right-hand side of this map, even in the face of mortars, right? There's been 2 mortars. I think we can maybe... I feel like I kind of want to maybe blame the German player a bit for, man, this T-70 is just backed up so far I can't even find it on the camera. I kind of want to blame the German player a bit for not targeting these 2 mortars over here just 24/7. I guess that's what's happening now. I guess this mortar's firing over there. It's hard. How far can the mortar have to shoot? Yeah, it's hitting that house. Anyways, I think I really would have liked to see the German player just bombard these things 24/7. You did get some kills over here on the left. Early on, notice this has stayed at 7 for kind of the entire match. This went up from 8 to 11, but it's been a while, so I think the German player would have seen way more returns on these mortars had he just locked down these 2 houses 24/7 and then moved out with some infantry over on the right instead of constantly getting repulsed. I think this is the first pioneer squad to make it, or the first infantry squad to make it this far in a long, long time, and this is only after those 2 mortars were just retargeted. So I think the lesson here is if your opponent is doing a good job turtling on the right, maybe try and do your best to hold on the left without both the mortars. You don't need... What the fuck hit this? Was it... Oh, it was an AT grenade. Somehow I missed that. I didn't think the conscripts were close enough to do it, but we'll see if they get another one off. It looks like it may be aiming for that. I think the lesson here is try and make do with 1 or 0 mortars on the left and use them to push your way out onto the right, because the Soviet stranglehold on the right-hand side of this map is really putting a big crimp in the German plans. It's not like the end of the world. The German has had enough territory control that if you look at the resource income, it's not like a ridiculous disparity or something. The German's still in this game, by all means. But VP-wise, it's really hurting the Germans. We've got 159 versus 500. And just maneuverability-wise, Jesus, what the fuck was over here? Some Soviet squad just disappeared off the mini-map. I don't know what the hell was going on. Maneuvering-wise, it really hurts the Germans to not be able to have full run of the map or anything. Finally, these pioneers getting over. But look, there's a Maxim further back. There's a cutoff that's been going for a while. What's Twitch chat have to say? Sherman did burn down Atlanta, so it was successful. I meant successful versus the mines. Kiesel says explosive landmines were being used in 1277 by the Chinese during the Song Dynasty. The Chinese invented everything. Evil Triple says there are mines planted in the grounds at Fort Knox. That's only because people saw Goldfinger and they realized it's so easy to rob that place. We got to do something about it. Boris the Potato says Haas just can't push out. Too much constant pressure. Yeah, I mean, constant pressure plus a Maxim in this house or this house is kind of 80% of it. J for Jet says typical Dave push assault. Yeah, this is classic Dave. Classic fucking Dave. Just trying to fucking get up in your grill. And Boris the Potato says, J for Jet make it sound cheesy or bad. Oh, look at him, typical Dave, push the pleb. And then J for Jet says, meant more like comes from a flank, decruise your ship, pushes through the front, decaps all your territory. Yeah, Dave is like Sherman's march, but without a Sherman. Instead, he's got 2 Katyushas. Just the one so far, but he's building another. This is gonna get ugly, guys. I don't want to see what happens when this Katyusha fucking fires. Is he waiting till he has 2 to fire it? I don't think so. But is he? Do you think he is? Where's the other mine? There's the other mine. So the mine bulletin was not a fake out. Is he waiting till he has 2 to fire it? I think he might be waiting till he has 2 to fire it. Because that's the ultimate fake out. Your opponent doesn't know you have a Katyusha, right? So you fire it and they hear the Katyusha and they start retreating or whatever, right? That's how it usually works. Your opponent doesn't know you have 2 Katyushas. You fire it, you start retreating. The other one hits your base simultaneously and you're like, oh, this is really bad news. This is just the worst news I could get. Let's see if it happens. We have 2 Katyushas. And they're moving together, so you know he's got something planned. Oh god, are the Panzergrunts gonna see it? That was the wrong fog of war. I don't think the Panzergrunts saw it. This is gonna get Jeez, I don't even want to watch this. I'm lying. Why do I want to watch it? Too bad. So bad.
We are in a dangerous situation.
It's moving.
100 points remaining.
Come on. Why do you build these things if you're not gonna shoot them? Give me the goods. Give me the goodies. Give me the goodies. I guess he's busy microing. He's got a lot of inventory doing a lot of shit. Oh no, the minesweepers. You've been uncovered for however long you can live, which is not very long. You're rest in peace. That's what red cover does, guys. Ooh, is that a mortar? Oh, what? Was the mine... The mine blew up. I think from a mortar hit. I think a mortar hit killed the mine. Honeynut says maybe he forgot he had them. He was moving the Katyushas. He knows he has them. He knows he's just waiting for the ultimate. He's just waiting for the perfect time, for everything to be like super clumped up. This Maxim's still here, by the way. I just want to pat myself on the back for correctly saying that the Maxim has been one of these two houses the whole time, and that's a big deal. So let's all, let's be happy. Panzer IV, uh-oh, says Luciano CoH, and we'll check out that in a moment. But here's the first volley of the Katyusha, extremely effective. Unless it wipes out this conscript squad, in which I'll say it's mildly effective. It's fucking up the T-70, I'll give it that much. Is the other Katyusha firing? Yeah, they're both firing. Where's the other one going? It's going over here. I can't watch both of these. I gotta put down my cup of tea. Jesus. Ooh, this is... Oof. Oof. Man, he's just running straight into the Katyusha barrages, the Soviet player. He's like, I will be fine. I will be fine, but this could get ugly. It's been AT... Oh, no, that's not... Yeah, it's been AT grenade. I think it must... That must have been an AT grenade. I think it got AT grenaded here, and now it's going to get whittled down by the guards, but it can shoot the guards. And we don't have a lot of other AT. More AT grenades, I suppose, but the guards are going to die. They buttoned. Oh, no, what do we have? Oh, it's a stolen pack! Classic Dave with the stolen pack. J for Jet says, Dave forgot about the existence of the Katyushas. If he ignores them, they don't exist. We're not reusing a joke from the earlier cast. I'm not one of those hack streamers who only has one joke in all his shoutcasts. I come up with fresh new jokes every time I shoutcast. Here's a new joke. What did the yogurt say to the cheese? I'm more cultured than you are. I did just make that up, by the way. I am so proud of myself that I managed to do that. So anyways, the German loses the Panzer IV because the pack got stolen by those crazy fucking conscripts running straight into the Katyusha fire, and the game ends with a mortar shell paused in midair and slightly see-through, as all mortar shells are in real life. So that was a crazy game, guys. I'll see you on the flip side, YouTube.